This video contains spoilers for Star Wars: The Last Jedi and Knives Out. You've been warned. When I went to see Knives Out, the only other film I'd ever seen in Rian Johnson's filmography was The Last Jedi. And I was scared. Scared I was wasting my money, scared I was wasting my time. When I went to see it, my friends tried to convince me that films like Looper and Brick were excellent and well worth the watch, and that this, being in a similar vein to those films, would probably be no exception. I didn't believe them. My faith in his directorial abilities were so tainted by his work on Star Wars that I went into Knives Out expecting to be disappointed. I honestly wish I hadn't. Knives Out is a smart, well-paced, well-thought-out, and well-executed film that takes viewers on a journey through the minds of a colorful cast of characters and the detective trying to solve a murder that lies at the heart of their relationships with one another. This movie more than exceeded my expectations. It showed me another part of Rian's directorial style that I wasn't previously aware of. One that, unlike The Last Jedi, was a delight to watch. And, watching this film now, I think I understand more fully why many of the choices Rian made during his time with Star Wars left me with a bitter taste in my mouth. To give you a better idea of what I'm talking about, I'm going to be taking a scene from The Last Jedi and comparing it to Knives Out. In The Last Jedi, Johnson tries to subvert audience expectations concerning Rey's lineage on more than one occasion. However, I think one poignant example highlighting the differences in the way he chose to subvert audience expectations in The Last Jedi vice Knives Out is the scene where Rey is on the island training with Luke. On this island, there's a dark side presence lingering in a mysterious underground cave. After being convinced by Kylo Ren that leaning on the powers of the dark side might lead her to finding out who her parents were, Rey journeys down the hole despite Luke's prior insistence that she not. It's at this moment that I, as an audience member, expected there to be some great dark side power hidden beneath this island. Perhaps it was what drew Kylo Ren to the dark side. Or, perhaps it was some other independent force altogether. Regardless, the audience at this point is presented with a choice. We've been led to believe that something is X, so character A, when encountering X thing, normally has two choices to make, either A or B. To more clearly illustrate this point, Rey is character A in this situation, and Thing X is the dark side cave. My expectation here is that Rey would find something out about her parents regardless, but would be presented with a choice to turn to the dark side in order to find out more about them, choice A, or would instead turn away and acknowledge that not knowing was better than turning to the dark side like Kylo Ren, choice B. However, Rian, being a mystery and thriller director, anticipated that the audience would proceed down this line of reasoning, or something similar, and instead of answering the question one way or the other, decides to cut them off at the assumption. The assumption in this case being that the dark side cave was going to reveal something to her about her parents, something about her lineage. The cutoff, the subversion in this case, is that she goes down there and it doesn't tell her anything at all. Nothing about her parents, nothing about herself, nothing. Part of the reason this scene is so largely disappointing to me personally isn't because of the subversion itself, but because of what the subversion meant. It was pointless. It didn't add anything new to the story, or to Rey's character, or give us any additional insight into who her parents were, or who they might have been, or why they abandoned her. It's an empty, hollow scene that could have been entirely removed from the film. But it wasn't. And if I had to give you an answer as to why, it's because I think Rian believed he had done his job as writer. And he had. As a mystery writer, he'd successfully thrown out a red herring concerning a question he knew the audience would have about the story. And then he twisted it. The dictionary definition of a red herring is literally a piece of information in a story that distracts readers from an important truth, or leads them to mistakenly expect a particular outcome. Most often, the term red herring is used to refer to a false clue, a piece of information that misleads readers to believe that a crime, or some other action, was committed by someone other than the actual culprit. We expected to learn more about Rey's lineage, and instead, learned nothing. But why does this scene, out of all the scenes in The Last Jedi, ring so hollow to me? When I first wrote the script of this video, I thought it was because this kind of storytelling didn't work as well in a sci-fi space opera setting like Star Wars, because in a universe like that, there can't be any pointless scenes. This being especially the case in a movie where the audience is relying on the writer for answers established in a previous installment. I thought that no scene could feel pointless or wasted, because then the audience would feel like the author was toying with them. They would feel like they were wasting their time. In sci-fi, pointless scenes largely reveal the hand of the author, not knowing or understanding where their story is going. However, upon going back and re-examining the scene in the cave and comparing it to a pivotal red herring in Knives Out, I realized something. Sci-fi and horror stories use red herrings to throw us off the trail all the time. The literature website LitCharts states as much in a generalized overview of red herrings. Red herrings build suspense and help storytellers execute dramatic plot twists. They're a staple of mystery novels and whodunits, yes, but they appear in other kinds of stories as well. Stories with any kind of plot twist or surprise endings often rely on red herrings to distract the audience, and some of the characters, from what is actually going on. While it is true that the use of red herrings is far more prevalent in mystery and thriller writing than any other genre, most often, such as the case with Knives Out, the red herrings being thrown at the audience are used to add to the audience's understanding of a situation. Sure, these situations are often used to throw people off the trail, but think about it. They're also used to reveal something about the character, plot, and setting. And that's when I realized why my opinion of these two films, written by the same man, were so diametrically opposed to one another. Their view on, and execution of red herrings, while both indicative of a mystery and thriller story, were done in very different ways. Let's take a look at Knives Out for a more clear picture of what I mean. The film sets the stage for a classic murder mystery by introducing us to a family whose children have all thrived off of their father's vast wealth, built upon the success of his novels. Each of the children are primed to receive some portion of his inheritance, and each of them have their own particular grievances to air with their father, lending to a wide array of means and motives from which Ryan could draw to bend the narrative in any way that he wanted, and to reveal to the audience at the end how this all happened and why. He didn't do that. Instead, at the film's midpoint turn, he reveals to the audience that the father's nurse accidentally injected him with the wrong medicinal fluid, leading to her accidentally killing him. However, because the father cares about the nurse more than any of his other children that are trying to leech off of his fortune for their own benefit, he kills himself by stabbing himself with a knife and stages it to look like a murder in order to ensure that his nurse wouldn't get in any trouble for actually killing him. This sets the stage for the rest of the movie. Now, let me ask you something. Did you catch that? The father's death was the red herring. Up to that point, the audience is scratching their heads wondering how this murder could have been perpetrated so perfectly, when it turns out to actually have been a suicide perpetrated by the man himself. But this reveal doesn't ring as hollow as The Last Jedi's. It serves to reveal several important things about every single character in the movie. It tells us that the father loves the nurse more than any of his other children, enough that he would fake his own murder in order to exonerate her. It shows us that, even after injecting the father, the nurse insisted he call 911, even after she admitted the ambulances would never make it on time. It shows us that this man is worthy of all the literary praise thrown his way toward the beginning of the movie because of the way he set up his own death. And it shows us how much the nurse trusts him and his intelligence enough that she follows all his directions almost without fail. Writing out this essay really helped me to not only appreciate Ryan's directorial choices with respect to Knives Out, but also helped me to understand where those decisions may have stemmed from during his time with The Last Jedi, and how, despite all the criticism I and others give it, he did manage to make a film that subverted audiences' expectations in a way that was a joy to watch. Well, in a watching a building collapse kind of way.
Heavenly God, creator of heaven and earth, have mercy on my soul.
Regardless of what you think of his work on The Last Jedi, I strongly encourage you to go watch Knives Out if you haven't already done so, This is a smart film that knows what it is and sticks to its roots while injecting some smart twists and turns to keep you on the edge of your seat. If you liked this video, please make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. And until next time, Tired Viewer, signing off.